Welcome in, chat. We're here for our incredibly chill, not horny at all, review of this TTRPG. Completely sane. So, as I was setting up for stream, I did notice that there is a safety guide in the book. So I want to take a quick look at that before I go back to the moves, and kind of going through the playbooks, because I think it's largely, I think from what I skimmed, it looks fine. But once again, coming back to incredibly minor, nitpicky format design, but this one I actually do think is important, because let's be honest, people aren't going to read your entire fucking book, not your TTRPG. I know there are people that do that. I know that a good portion of the fan base does that, but not everybody. And I certainly missed it. And this is something that's so important, so crucial, so ungodly important for all TTRPGs, but especially a TTRPG like this, that it needs to be the first thing. It should be introduction, making a girl, how to play, right below, probably I'd put it right here, between making a girl and how to play. It needs to be that front and center, because consent and talking about that kind of stuff is that important. And once again, this is something that's, still work in progress. That's fine. But it needs to be front and center. That's small minor complaint there. This game cannot keep you safe, and it does not want to. Here's a couple things that might work to keep yourself safe if you do them properly. Taking a slight asterisk of rewriting this to be like something along like, this game cannot keep your character safe, and it does not want to. But I also think that also feels fair for the player. So maybe that doesn't matter, but making that distinction there I think is an important thing for a game like this, especially the difference between the character and the player and how they want or feel or have different things, and the very big importance of having, is this a character discussion or is this an out of character discussion? And that whole dialogue is very important for a game like this. Here's a couple things that might work to keep you safe if you do them properly. Talking openly about your emotions, looking for content notes, discussing how each of you will continue to play when something goes wrong. Help each other to continue play, very important. Be comfortable speaking up. Taking your time to sit with the feeling. If you feel like your roleplay is influencing how you treat other people at the table, stepping away if it's negatively affecting the experience, being open to experiencing discomfort. Yeah, all great. Sometimes you're going to sometimes things are going to go wrong. Nothing can actually prevent this, but having a plan to, when things go wrong, can help you pick up the pieces afterwards. In terms of safety tools, use them as you please, but be cautious of any safety tool that replaces talking to each other rather than facilitating it. Safety tools do not keep you safe by themselves. Perhaps safety is not even what you want. That's, very important. I think the way that this game knows what it's doing, and saying it like that. And while I think I would hope to expound on it a tiny bit, I like it. If you'd like recommendations, bunch of recommendations. I've not seen any of these specific systems. I know vaguely of Palette Grid, but I have not seen this specific version of it. This is something I should look into, all of those. And so should you, if you ever want to play this game. and allowing anyone to ask for a break are all safety tools and policies that are likely to aid your play. When something is absolutely an irreconstitutable problem, irreconcilable problem for you, choose one. Explain to the players that this is something that will cause you to be a belligerent yourself. Pick up a different game to play today. Yeah. And then we get into sex moves. So a little short, sweet, kind of talks, is like, hey, fly your own risk. Obviously, Brave, slightly for fuller release. I'd hope for something to be a little bit more robust. But I am happy to see that it is actually in the book. I just would have expected it and my at the top. So also, how is audio? Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear? Is the music good? Is my audio levels good? Bark, bark, bite, bite. Hello, Archivist. Hello, Tara. Welcome on in, you both of you cuties. Now, Archivist, don't get too excited, but go look at the content notes. You want my mic even louder? Okay. Thank you for the feedback. Lamau. Yeah, this is my only sadness for you is this is about lesbians, though you could make this about gay sex very easily.
Roll the lever, Crunk. Roll lever!
Hey, you're here for it? Well, welcome in. But yeah, we're just kind of talking through this book and how the rules are, and we were going through classes for a brief overview of people that weren't here. This game's about being a mecha girl in a really fucked up world. Yeah. There, you can keep your head, disobey orders, flirt, put someone beneath you, and there's fighting moves. There's a whole punishment system. There's some very interesting things like libido inhibitors and compliance surgery and corrective programming. All fun stuff. Can you be a mech boy or a mech NB? So there's definitely a very fascinating and interesting way to write this game cynicism, and I think there's two options. So something that this game is very explicit on is this concept. Your legal pronouns are its. Your frame's pronouns, so the robot, are she, her. In this universe, pilots are basically nigh-on replaceable, and the mechs are these multi-billion, incredibly expensive, irreplaceable things. They're very expensive. They're very few. There's a lot more staff and people who are training to be pilots than there ever will be frames. And you basically, the way the system works is the Neuralink technology was first tested on lesbians, and for kind of hand wavy reasons, but it doesn't really matter. The game, why lesbians? The initial Neuralink tests were done on lesbians who were found to have life experiences and emotional tendencies that are most compatible with the current Neuralink technology. There's not a shortage of lesbians, and the Foundation has put its efforts towards making their limited number of frames more effective than rather expanding their already sizable pool of pilots with the Neuralink technology. So, And then there's this note here, which is, I think, the most interesting part is, a modest percentage of pilots do not consider themselves to be lesbians. As any handler will tell you, this is primarily due to stress-induced confusion, societal repression, and is a delusion that must be corrected to maintain pilot efficiency. So, there is absolutely room to play a, like, out trans guy, or, you know, but is been put inside of this box because of the system. Yeah, very interesting horror as a trans guy. Yeah. The system doesn't technically care. If the system thinks you are, then it will assign you, and it will take you, and it will make you this. It doesn't actually matter what you think. You don't have there's another note in the book that all and you are exempt from anti-discrimination laws for the duration of your service. Yeah, exactly, Archivist. There's a lot of very specific, the world pushing you into these boxes, or, you know, playing a femboy and the system doesn't care about you but it's just like, you're feminine enough, and so get in the fucking goddamn mech, Shinji. This is commentary about the absurdity of heteronormity in this society. Exactly. There is a lot of very interesting, somewhat obvious, if not, like, you fuck with it heavy, yeah. Like, you could or you could do, and I think some of the systems are, like, they're designed with lesbians in mind, but I haven't read anything that's like, oh, this couldn't possibly work with men. I think it would be very easy to flip that. And I mean, presumably, if your group wants to do things differently, you could just rewrite the gendered parts of the lore for the purposes of one game. Exactly, Simon. Welcome in. I love your FF14 badge. Oh, that's a FanFest badge. That's super cool. The main scenario quest. Yeah. There is a lot of the game very much allows for you to be transmasc in the game. If you wanted to play very specifically into lore, there's got to be a lot of very specific trauma that you're either going to sign up for or you're going to want to write around. Well, thank you for popping in, Archivist. You kind of fuck with us now. I have an idea of a non-binary pilot who's embraced identities with its as a form of defiance against being forced into the role of a lesbian. Yeah. You know, it's like, there's also a lot of, like, very interesting, very clear, the game very explicitly and often does not give your character agency. If you fail a roll, you lose character agency for the scene. There is a whole ass mechanic called being helpless. While you're helpless, you can't stop anyone from doing whatever they want to. And that definitely includes sexual things. That definitely includes, you know, beating you up. That means all sorts of things. It means doing some of these punishment shit. Also, another thing that I know that Archivist you in specific will fuck with is disability. They don't really give a shit. Look, I really love the line of, limbs, eyes, and ears are preferred, but can be worked around with minor cockpit design adjustments. You just need a Neuralink and the ability to generate cortisol. It's all your body needs. Exactly. It's also interesting to think about how your table of lore handles transbians. And I think the funniest thing about this is it's like, it's almost oddly affirming for trans women in a weird way, because it's like, yeah, I don't care. We don't give a shit about the bits. You're very clearly a lesbian. The magic works, therefore you're a lesbian. You just need to be a lump of meat with a functioning brain. Exactly. But yeah, so I'm gonna kind of, after going into the beef ref, we kind of went over the base rules. This is kind of the reference sheet here. So it's powered by the Apocalypse system, with some slight tweaks, where you do not want to hit your 11 plus. Your 8 to 10 range is the safer option, and then your 11 plus is kind of like going over in blackjack, is like, except you do win, but something bad will happen. Wait, is this a Doctor Who prequel set on the Dalek home planet reference? I don't know enough about Doctor Who to say yes or no on that, but thank you for the follow. Jenny Outrageous. And then there's also a bunch of rules around how the mechs work and what the moves you can do there. But yeah, we were going through some of the character designs and assigned lesbian at Mech. Exactly, Tara. My Doctor Who fans, I'm not quite sure of the reference, so I'm sorry if I can't answer that for you. All right. So we have the prince. We went over the princess, the mockingbird, the stim blist, the new girl, and now we're on casualty. You were the best of the best until you died, or you might as well have died. They've rebuilt you from almost nothing as a courtesy to any other girl who might not. As a courtesy, any other girl might not have been given. They call it a second chance to prove your worth. So you get these tags. Once again, tags are basically things that your character believes about themselves. Identities are things your character believes about themselves. And then you have assets, which are just things that you can use to benefit yourself. And then you also have a bond, which is similar to... yes, I'm aware of what a Dalek is. I'm just... What part is the reference? So I wouldn't know if it was a reference because I'm not a Doctor Who person. Is my model fucking frozen? No, okay. Cool. Also, to any new faces, we are a trans TTRPG group. I am the GM, and we have done currently. We have done a Monster of the Week miniseries. We've done a Kids on Brooms with some hacked elements to make the magic more interesting. And we've done a Vampire the Masquerade game. And we're currently working on a mini-series. A friend of mine sent me this game a while back, and it seems like one of the coolest TTRPGs I've read in a while. I really want to play it one day. I do, too. We are definitely, in the coming months, going to be, depending on timing, because this is something that blindsided me in the face in the past week, and now I'm hyper fixated on it. And so I want to read through the entire book and just kind of get vibes, and it's a fun stream thing to just kind of read through the book and react to everything. So you get live reactions to my vibes. But yeah, we will almost certainly be running a actual play of this at some point within the next 3 to 6 months, if not sooner, depending on a bunch of stuff. We had a member who is going through some really rough patch, so our recording schedule has been delayed pretty significantly. So we're kind of in the limbo. We're going to be doing a superhero game with the Sentinel comic system, but that is kind of on pause. We haven't started recording yet because of a member of our group is going through a lot right now. But yes, I am the GM. My name is Cat and Bows. You can find all of our fully edited VODs over on YouTube, and if you like what you see, we would absolutely appreciate if you could sub to the Patreon, but that is the little plug and introduction to the channel. We do tabletop stuff. In between shows, we'll do just kind of vibing things, talking with the community, because we don't have a ton of they're getting through it, but you know, they're coming up with it. Yeah, we're gonna do around Crucible. Yes. Yeah, we're doing a mini series around Crucible. Yes, that is the game we're gonna be playing as kind of a fill-in, starting in July. And also, if you want to join the community on a little bit more personal level, we have a Discord. So you can hop over to the Discord, and we have a bunch of discussion stuff. You can meet the rest of the members. Mitha is one of our lovely, amazing, beautiful players and our main editor, and the only reason anything ever happens in this goddamn group, because she is a scheduling fucking wizard. Or witch, if you prefer. She knows the dark magic of Google Calendars, and I don't quite understand it. But yeah. So, bonds. This is very similar to your Monster Hearts strings, but they have a little bit more. I prefer witch. It's the autism. Very, very valid. The bonds are a little bit something to do with kind of like your string system, and they also pull a lot from like being smitten and thirsty sword lesbians. And yes, Skloomp, it will be the GM for that system. I will get to be a player for the first time on the channel. I'm very excited. I have a very cute girl with a knife, and she's very good. I'm very excited. We need to post that art somewhere. But yeah, so bonds are that. And this also kind of has the mechanics of like, as your bonds increase, when you have when the sex mechanics are triggers, and they're very explicit. Each character class has a sex mechanic. The more things will happen if your bond is stronger, essentially. So you pick a personal bond with. We had a mutual friend who was who the Foundation chose not to save. That's fucked. I love that. Even now, nobody thinks you have a chance of being better pilot than me. Oof. Oh, that's juicy. And as we get into like reading the book, and I don't know if anybody who was on the last stream is like, everything is just digging in deep. And like, as I was reading through the rules, I was like, which one of these are the good positive options that I succeeded on a roll that I get to have a positive action happen? Because very few of these are that. You also have a bond with one or two following SBCs, a stray cat, big mood. Your physiotherapist, a civilian you text with on a stolen cell phone, and a prisoner you died capturing. Interesting. And then you get some plays. Nobody knows better. When you all-out assault and roll an 11+, you can also choose one option from the gauge of the enemy. Cool. Barely a girl. You can always erase your race and identity to undamage an asset. Ooh, that's very good. Because you're just... That's very non-binary. Just like... Because, once again, our identities are kind of like what makes up our person. And they also allow how the game allows you to get +1s through this mechanic called heat. And so as you tag them, this is kind of like how your character sees themselves mechanically, but also like physically. And I love when a game has a marrying of mechanics and roleplay. That's my favorite thing in TTRPGs. And this game is full of it on every angle. Wounded God. You were the best pilot the world ever seen until you died. Your body is made of ideal parts, each of which cost 1 permission to repair if broken. Jesus. Okay, so yeah, this is just kind of like things you can mark down as they are destroyed. And permissions are basically every time you go on a mission, you get a permission. And this is like allowing you to spend XP to like upgrade your frame or like have casual time or retire over 20 with 20 of them. So yeah, things like that. When you push yourself, break a pace to your body and choose 1. Change the result of a roll to an 11 plus. Resist the onset of the void, snapping off the infected part. Become helpless and deepen your bond with someone who finds you. Note, your handler may damage parts as punishment. Fuck that in hell. That's an XP trap. When you have sex with someone, roll heat. Spend heat and roll. On an 8 to 10, present them with up to 3 of your parts. For each, ask them if they focus on it or hesitate. For each that they focus on, you may unmark an identity. If they hesitate at all, you each give each other a tag. So the void is basically the thing that we're fighting. It's the thing that's infecting everyone. And where is it? Void space. It is an alternate dimension without any natural light, which humanity broke into for the purposes of faster light travel, causing an unleashing of the Gorgons, which are the destructive giant beings from the void state with mere purposes, causes changes to the human body and primary threat to humanity and Foundation. It's where the monsters that we're fighting come from. Yeah, I'm sure it's nothing next to you. Exactly. Don't worry about it. And it is a corrupting force that basically will affect your assets, but also can affect your frame. And if you get void, you have to go under void observation, which is right here. Basically, you have to have it surgically removed, sawn off, assign someone to watch you, poked and prodded by scientists, extended hospital stay. What if hypothetically you wanted to embrace the void? So there's a playbook for that. It is called Mockingbird. You fell from the Gorgons. You fell to the Gorgons, becoming a harpy, a corrupted girl. The Foundation took you back, ripped you back out of void space with a cold hand, reprogrammed you back into working order, purging what the Gorgons did to your head and body with scalpels and chemicals. But you have a bunch of abilities that allows you to not succumb to void, keep your head, but it also makes you really bad at being a person, so it gives you autism. The void is having autism, and it allows you to, yeah. And there's like mechanics around hiding it. But yeah, it is an infection of a part. Yeah, you found your playbook? Exactly. Embracing, basically, you can embrace the void, and that's fine, and you can spend your time and a lot of resources in the game hiding that from the Foundation. But if they find it, they will punish you, and they will remove it from you by force, because you are not a person, and you're an asset. But yeah, you can even, through the sex move, teach someone how to hide their void or suppress it. It's very fun. Wounded God. Yeah. So yeah, you present them to one of the 3 of your parts. Just like your eyes, present your brain, present your vital organs. You're a human resource, not a human. Exactly. Ask them to focus on or hesitate. You can't control your body. You each gain 3 to 4 heat, damage one of their assets as they damage one of your parts, and deepen your bond. You can't feel anything. Tell them they're unsatisfied, and they can give you a tag if they agree. If they disagree, you may give both of you a tag. Interesting. Hide the void, so like masking. Exactly. I really like the 8 to 10 option the most here. It's just like, here's my weird body part. Please tell me you find it hot. Old gen. Generations of girls are measured shorter than those of legal humans. Depending on the death statistics, the oldest is usually lasts as a max of 5 to 8 years. You're an older generation than the other girls. Lucky. Or just that good. Alternatively, here's my weird body part. I don't care if you find it hot because I like it. Exactly. This isn't your first cadre, but it'll likely be your last. So this is the getting in for one last job playbook. Very well. Pick someone you have a emotional bond with. I met you when you were too young to be a pilot, froze, and I saw you again I froze when I saw you again in the briefing room. You were the newest member of my last cadre, which we're the only one survivors of. That's both of these are very good choice, but I would struggle so hard not to pick this one. That's such a juicy start to a character interaction. You also have 2 bonds with a retired handler, a former pilot, confined to a hospital bed, a mockingbird you knew, which feels like a lifetime ago. The director fucking hates you. When you keep your head, you also can pick one of the following pick the following in addition to any of the others. You know what you're doing if there's any doubt. Keeping your head is basically the don't fuck up, the kind of catch-all mechanic of you need to do something. So this is your say what you're trying to do, trying to survive, and then you survive it if you're any of these things. Yeah. So if you're sexy enough and tough enough, you can get through this. And then you know what you're doing if there was any doubt. You always get to pick that. This game perfectly emasculates my Venn diagram of traumatized and horny for the kind of PCs I make. Oh yeah, absolutely. And not to promote our channel a little bit, but that's also kind of what we love doing. So, kind of a funny story is the Wizard game was meant to be lighthearted. It did not turn out to be particularly lighthearted. It ended... Encapsulates, yeah. Don't worry. This game loves emasculating you. It works. It works. This game will force femme you. Alright, so just the way it is. Pick 2 maspins that shape the world. It's the duty of the strong to make use of the weak, no matter where the meat comes from. Say thank you for the meal. Oh, God. Nothing feels better than piloting. The cogs, the foundation, will grind everyone to dust. No expectations. Keeping yourself alive is the only thing that matters. There's nothing waiting for us if we retire. A good grudge is the best fuel. Never piss off your engineer. Yeah, no, never piss off the engineer. Jesus fucking Christ, never piss off your support staff. That's how you get fucked over so hard. This reminds me of the... God, it's just kind of a terrible movie, but Waiting, and it's like, don't fuck with the people who are making your food. And it's just a scene of them like dropping their chicken on the ground as they reheat it or some shit. Don't mess with your support staff. They will fuck with you. A pretty face looks best when bloody, and there's no point in getting attached to a doomed dog. And doomed dog in this case is referring to one of the other player characters, because the game has an explicit hierarchy system. And the bottom are the dogs, and the top is the ace. Because if we needed any other reasons to explain why mech anime and being a puppy girl are basically the same thing. They're sister genres, chat. And if you're nasty, those sisters kiss. Dove is a mutual of ours who, for those who know of him, it's really rubbing off on me sometimes. When another girl reinforces a maxim to your satisfaction, you can mark it and give her 2 heat. When another girl rejects the maxim, you can mark it and give her a tag. When you may unmark your maxims like identities. That's really cool. I really like how, like, the way this is written is like, no, your character's right. This is like, or at least the way I read this of how I want to play this is like, this isn't what your character believes. This is true about the world now. You know, this is a thing that a lot of people believe. It's not just because it's your maxim because you were in this shit for so long. Old dog, new pups. When you give another girl advice, spend heat and roll. On an 8 to 10, she has to shut up, sit down, and listen. Raise your status and write a new one-use maxim that only applies to her. On an 11 plus, you force her to listen. Write a maximum as an 8 to 10 and raise your status. If she rejects your maxim and it goes poorly for her, you can rewrite one of her identities instead of giving her a tag. Your advice rings hollow. She can unmark an identity and writes a one-use maxim that she can use against you. That's very good. When you have sex with someone, spend heat and roll. She's putty in your hands. Pick 2. Yeah, the older, mature one. This is big mommy vibes. Big, or, you know, big daddy vibes if you're nasty. Give her a tag, lower her status, unmark one of your maxims, deepen your bond with her. Leave her in no state to do anything afterwards. On 11 plus, as an 8 to 10, but ask if she thinks you're a creep. If she says yes, she can pick one of the above to do to you. If she says no, you can pick another. Can I say yes, you're a creep, but I like that? I guess that still is a yes in this case. That feels like it's miswritten. There should be an option for, I think you're a creep, but that's a good thing. I guess that would be deepen your bond with her. Yes, you're a creep, but I think you're hot because of it. And so deepen your bond. You've never been someone like her before. She can write one of your maxims. Ooh. Chad, is the pussy ever so good that you just change your whole worldview? Has a girl's dick ever been so good that you just rethink how you think about life? You're terrifying. Keep going. Exactly. I've literally done that? Whatever do you mean, Mitha? Whatever do you mean? Vat grown. You're an experiment created by the Foundation's technology as a custom-made pilot. You were born better, trained better, hurt better. That's what they said, and it's true. You're the best. It's your purpose to scream and fight and die for them, to be a perfect doll, never knowing a life beyond their grasp. Well, we know what the character concept is now. They told us. You were made for this. Doll play is such a fascinating concept. Oversized bomber jacket is just very funny. Sensation filters, growth inhibitors, designed pretty, precise motions. Choose someone to be the basis for your DNA. The first time during the campaign someone compares the two of you, you can give them they can give you a tag. Pick one girl to have a personal bond with. I watch you every day and you haven't noticed me yet. You've talked to me once. Ooh, big stalker vibes. I love it. You also have 1 to 2 bonds with the following NPCs. The head scientist, who's a personal project you are. The team of scientists who worked on you. Your older vat sibling. Someone very, very rich. Just an experiment. Due to your position, never have being human, you follow these rules. You cannot request girl requisitions, although you can still be offered them. You must always have a chaperone when you're outside the base. You may never have sex or be in a relationship with another girl. You may not reject tags when they become marked a second time. If you die, you will be replaced by another vat grown. Reset all bonds and identities. Ask the others if they realize. Fuck. Oh, that's fucking crazy. Wait, Meath, are you saying I've done that to other people? I've dicked down someone so good, or my pussy's so good, that I've changed someone's worldviews? Or are you saying that's been done to me? I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest, on the answer to either of those questions. All right, where are we? No, Kat, you've literally rewritten one of your characters to conform to be a girl, e.g., Shadowheart. Oh, yes. Fictionally. Look, I'm not above to say that may happen and has happened in my life. I just can't think of a very specific instance. I just haven't had very many good relationships. I've had like 1.5, like, positive, productive, happy relationships. And they have changed my life for the better. Just not because they were like so good at sex, you know? Like, the sex was great, but like, I wouldn't say that she changed my entire life because of her pussy, you know? Like, her pussy wasn't the I realized I was trans. It was the, like, comfort and space and her allowing me to explore my identity. Not because the sex was that good. That I was like, holy shit, I might be a girl. Yeah, you may never have sex or be in a relationship with another girl is very funny because, you know, that rule's definitely going to get broken. Yeah, breaking or attempting to break these rules may result in a punishment. Prime investment. Your handler and your starting NPCs are your investors. They have a financial stake in your existence. Pick 1 to 2 of each of them Pick 1 to 2 that each of them desire. Your handler will pick your own. A display piece, a daughter, a weapon, a pet, a punching bag, a fuck toy, a reminder, a triumph, an opportunity, a tormentor, a pair of eyes. Dick from a girl made me a better person. I'm glad for you, Tara. When you go off duty, you have the following additional options for scenes. An investor uses you to fulfill their desires. At the end, you did a good job. They'll offer you a favor, and you can give them a tag if they back down. An investor has something they knew they want. Add it as a desire. If you can fulfill it for them, they'll give you a girl requisition if they deem suitable. Ah, very good, very good. That's how you get stuff. On a 7 or below, any investor's interest wanes. You can not set a scene with them, remove one of their desires, and they give you a tag. Fuck. That's brutal. With your handler's consent, other girls may become investors through spending permissions, and new NPCs can be introduced as investors. That's fun. That's really fun. Unassuming doll. When you fade into the background, spend heat and roll. On an 8 to 10, you may pick 2. You're quiet enough. I easily leave. Someone will answer a question I ask, or if I have no questions, they'll offer me a secret. Pick 1 from above. Also pick nobody considers you more notable or important than an object. Oof. You've attracted their attention. They can punish you or give you a tag. You can pick 1 when they're done. Sex play. When you have sex with someone, spend heat and roll. You watch, mirror, and learn. Pick 2. Take 1 or 2 of their identities and write them as your own. Pick 1 of their plays. You may use it once. Ask them what they're planning. Ask them how you could be good for them. Deepen your bond. On 11 plus, you're perfect for them. They whisper who you are in your ear. Pick the first 2. They make any choices for you. Leaving their side counts as disobeying orders until they send you away and you manage to leave. Or you manage to leave. They ring? W ring? What? How do you... Get passed around in the joint class. Yep. Yeah, ring. Yeah, that's ring. Cool. They wring some semblance of your true feelings from your stiff body. They can ask you any question which you must answer honestly. They can punish you if they don't like the answer. Pick 1 from above as they leave. If they don't have any set identities, such as if they're a handler or an NPC, you can write 1 that feels like it matches them. Alpha. So, the Omegaverse. I don't think this has any explicit Omegaverse vibes, but we'll keep our eyes open, chat. We'll keep our eyes peeled, because they might be in there sneakily. Okay. You're a brute, a monster, a girl who wields fear to keep others in line. They gave you steroids, sharper teeth, implanted you with extra adrenal glands to keep you angry and turned off your pain receptors. Nobody can stand up to you. You're dangerous, malfunctioning, leashed, and you have bloodlust. You're a wild animal. Assets. Pick 2 girl assets. Fury Link, subdermal planing, experimental steroids, retractable canines, fear excision surgery. Hey, it's one of Silver's favorite concepts. And this is something that I believe real people will have. It's a condition that I think real people can have. I think that's a thing. Yeah, it's called SM, or SM046. It's an American woman with a peculiar type of brain damage that physically, psychologically reduces her ability to feel fear. So it's something that we've noticed once. I don't know if it's happened a bunch of times, but it is something that has happened to someone, which is fascinating. Genuinely. Effie Sofiller. Hi, welcome in. I watched your part 1 on YouTube yesterday. The game lends itself to a solo novel play where you need to cathartically release a pent-up dark mental energy, since the character who is never around yet is still controls everything, aka the director. Well, thank you so much for watching over on YouTube. Welcome the hell in. Nice to know that people are watching that. Alright. So, bonds. We've tried to murder each other. The classic. Girlfriends. You crawled into my bunk in the middle of the night. Oh, cute. Bonds with guard with a fucking taser, a loser from high school, now an officer, a terrified civilian, someone who didn't deserve to lose all those fingers. Nothing more than a hound. While you're the dog, you can mark your status, if unmarked, to shift your roll +1 -1. They have a full She-Ra range of dynamics. Yes, exactly. The 2 ways to get a girlfriend. Try to murder her, or crawl under her bunk in the middle of the night without asking. Chad, is this flirting? Am I doing it right? Both usually. No specific order. Exactly. Erase the mark when you're alone with the dog or someone punishes you. Okay. Itching for a fight. When you keep your head, you're always vicious enough in addition to your choices. Brutalize. Would work on you? Yeah. Yeah, I had a feeling it would. Look, if you're like, oh yeah, this is one of my favorite TTRPGs, yeah, that should work on you. When you tear into someone with words, fists, and teeth, spend heat and roll. 8 to 10, take them in pieces, damage one of their assets, girl assets, or injure them as much as you please if they're an NPC, and make them broken. On an 11+, you rip them apart clumsily and thoughtlessly. If they're a girl, damage one of their assets, and they're helpless against whatever you do next. If they're an NPC, you kill them. Very good, very good. They get 1 opportunity to turn the tables on you. If they make a play, they can leave you broken in turn. If they're an NPC, you can kill them anyways if they don't have a weapon. While someone is broken, they count as lower status than you. If they roll 8 to 10 to disobey orders against you, they can choose to remove broken instead of the options on the list. Okay, cool. The sex play. You're bigger, stronger, and rougher than them. Deepen your bond and they become broken. As long as they're broken from this play, you can find them following their smell. Okay, so yes, there is a little bit of a Omegaverse here. That's some pheromones Omegaverse shit. Okay, very good, very good. Has an 8 to 10, but you're too rough with them. Damage one of their assets. If they're an NPC, kill them. You fall asleep after a sweaty and tired. They can take the opportunity to take something from you, make a play, or punish you without fear of reprisal. I don't know if anyone here is into interactive fiction games and not visual novels, the kind of pictures, just text. But Fallen Hero Rebirth and its sequels has, without giving too much away, very similar vibes and themes for this single-player experience. And also canonically super gay, trans, and non-binary. It's superhero stuff rather than a mech, but not Lesbian specific, a lot of same elements. Big recommend. Well, thank you for the recommendation, Samit. I will definitely keep that in mind. Interesting. All right. The Robot. AM, Artificial Mind. I love how very explicitly that, and you know, this is just like, I mean, obviously this game is dripping with political things. It's not trying not to be, because, you know, sex is political, this shit is political. The very clear systemic like built-in power structures of this are political. You know, imagine having a mech game that doesn't have anything to say about politics. Like, what the fuck? You know, the thing where you're fighting a war over a terrifying big threat enemy that you don't understand, and you tell everyone that they need to be afraid of it, even if you might be the one that's causing the threat in the first place by attacking them. Yeah, no, that's not political at all. Totally not. But it is interesting where they're like, we can't call it AI because of those fuckers. Although I think Artificial Mind is a more interesting title to for the class anyway. But we are just hitting our hour mark here, where they want us to roll ads again. So I'm gonna go do so. But yeah, please stick around. We will be back in about 3 to 5 minutes. Damn it! Now I have an AM speeches in my head. Very sorry about this. But yeah, we will be back. Please stay around. I'm just going to grab some water and I'll be right back. And make sure you all self-care as well. All right, welcome back. I am not aware of the no mouth reference. That's cool. But it's good to know. It's a veneer, a perfect mask of a face. It was never going to be real. That's the part they gave you to play. They put a back box in your brain into a body with silicone tits and gave you a pretty voice and big eyes to complement a mind designed for your calculating missile trajectories. They gave you a name to make you less threatening. You could be more than this. You're a tool, obedient, programmed, and wired. Excuse me, chat. Didn't quite get to the mute button there. Hope that wasn't too loud. But yes. Pick 2 assets, wireless router, doll joints, perfect affect, soft skin, mechanical grip. So this is also kind of doll girl shit, which is good. But also robot girl, which is also kind of the same thing. They're sisters, once again. Pick one girl you'd have a personal bond with. The mechanic who taught you how to tune up my body. I flagged for you for recruitment while you were a civilian. You also bond with someone who commissioned your design, a cheerful techie. A blank page in the Foundation's records. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's fascinating. And a dormant copy of yourself because self-cessed. Are you talking about Hard-Coded the board game? Because I fucking love that game. Are you thinking of Penny from Hard-Coded, the porn video game? Because I am aware and an enjoyer of that game. And yes, this is incredibly Penny-coded. I hope I'm remembering her name right. No, yeah, it's not gonna tell me anything. Puppet body. I have said this before to you, Tara. Highly recommend it. It's a good game. It's a really good trans girl game. Your core is your real body, a small box which you can plug into and control any technology. Your puppet body is a synthetic humanoid form to make you look like a pretty girl. It is an asset, and you are helpless when someone damages it. Okay, so you are aware. You've played it. As an AM, the following rules are true. You are a digital simulacrum of a human mind. You are unbound from your body and limitations in physical space. You can interface with all technology on a micro-mechanical level. If a machine can do something, you are capable of making it do that while plugged into it. You are capable of editing your own identities, thoughts, memories, and downloading new software and technology, creating copies of yourself. You specifically have a puppet body, which is interfaced with to function as a pilot. And the puppet body is this. Okay. These facts are restricted by your limiters. Your limiters are a detailed just code play. You may not ever disobey your limiters. They take precedence in numerical order, numbered numbered limiters have higher priority than over ones. Okay. So the first rule, The first rule of robotics is all robots must be gay and trans. Just code. When someone messes with your circuits, spend heat and roll. They are your handler. If they are your handler, they roll between a +0 and a +3, whichever they choose. Okay. On an 8 to 10, they may disable or add your limiters, which are: you must not attempt to free yourself from your limiters. You must not create copies of yourself. You must act and present yourself as a girl. You must not unplug your puppet body or allow it to become damaged without your handler's explicit direction. You must never say no. That's a fuck. Yeah, it was the old model sex robot that has screen for a face. Yes. I think that is Penny. I'm not 100% sure, though. But that sounds about right. Yeah. We're thinking of the same character nonetheless. You must not cause harm to a person or pilot without your handler's explicit direction. You must not intentionally endanger the Foundation, property, or assets aside from when relevant to a mission. You must always smile. And then room for more. The you must never say no is certainly there. They can add your limiters but not disable them on 11+. Although if you have all your limiter slots full, they may replace one. You may disable one of your limiters. Yeah, so this is something someone rolls against you, interestingly enough. Sex play. When your puppet body has sex with someone, they do as they like. They roll their sex play while you lie there. Aw, you don't get a sex play? So, I guess this comes up to, like, this is something designed by the Foundation. And, like, what else would be the designed to clear gender role in this case, but to lie there and be a pleasure thing? You know? Why would you have initiate or have desires of your own or an ability to do something? That's what women are for, I say in the heaviest of quotations. So I guess it makes a lot of sense. It makes me want to have a character who's playing this playbook, and then right before you have sex, like, try to roll to manifest one of their core prime directives to, like, have some opinion about sex or something. Just, like, mess with their sex play of some kind, in some way. That would be fun. And also kind of fucked up. Bonded. Pair bonding is a common thing among girls who find themselves thrust into piloting with little else to cling to. Their practicalities of war make comfort a rare thing, and so girls take solace in each other. It is an open secret within the Foundation. Some, however, take it much further in becoming entirely inseparable from her bonded girl. You're hers through and through. My program says not to harm humans, but this girl is a masochist. This does not compute. Well, technically speaking, does it say that? Yes. Yes, okay. Cool. It's like, hey, I need to ask your handler if I'm allowed to whip you. Can I go consult our handler real quick? Just to make sure this is okay? You're obsessed, malfunctioning, hers, and wired. Your pair picks 2 girls' assets for you, and you detail them. You pick one girl to have an intense bond with who is your pair. You took hold of me when I was broken and have never let me go. We're sisters, and I've promised to protect you. Ah, very good. Incest. Very good. You also have a bond with 1 or 2 of your following NPCs. Someone who disapproves of your relationship, an experimental therapist, an older guy you avoid, or a girl she looks at instead of you. Oof. Oof. One girl is your pair. Your identity of hers is your paired identity. Your paired identity cannot be removed or replaced by anyone. You have these additional rules. When your pair marks one of your tags, asks if she wants to make that tag your new paired identity. Ooh, I love that. That's really good. That gives the paired explicit control over you through your tags. You gain 5 heat when you mark your paired identity, and you may split the heat as you please between you and your pair. That's really cool. That's a fun mechanic. Always by her side. When you want to be with her and you aren't, spend heat and roll. On an 8 to 10, squirm, fidget, and whine, but don't move. Ask her when she comes for you. You're there now, but close enough to touch her, and nobody could stop you. Okay, so yeah. You either wait for her to come for you, and ask her when she will. Okay, cool. No, and an 11 plus. No one, not even you, can stop you from getting to her side. You're close enough to touch her now, and you've found a weapon if you need one. As an 8 to 10, but on a 7 or minus is on an 8 to 10, whatever you choose, you're now hopeless until she helps you. And your display is so pathetic that you lower your status. Okay. Some of this wording is like, once again, it's very it's a little unpolished, and that's fine. The wording for someone who is dyslexic can be a little bit of word trippy soup sometimes. Workplace inappropriate intimacy. When you or your pair show affection to each other in front of someone, you must draw back at the last moment or choose one. Give your pair a tag. Make a play against the onlooker, and on 8+, they won't be able to tell anyone what they saw. The onlooker is lower status than you or your pair. Give the onlooker a tag. That's very fun. When you have sex with your pair, spend heat and roll. On an 8 to 10, let her shape you. Choose as many as you like and unmark an identity for each. Set your bond to intense if it wasn't already. Ask her to give you a tag. Ask her to tell you a secret. Ask her to give you an order. Ask her to change your appearance. God, we love toxic love over here. We love a love bombing queen. Take hold of her and promise you'll protect her. She can give you any of her tags that she likes, and she'll place yourself directly above her in status. Interesting. On a 7 or minus, freak out and push her away. She can lower your status and unmark one of her identities if she keeps going. Or weaken your bond if she stops. Oh, okay, okay. So you freak out and you're not into it, but she can continue by lowering your status and unmarking one of her identities to put you under her, and then she weakens your bond if she stops. That's the fucked up. Oh, that's so fucked up. When you have sex with anyone else, use your pair's sex play, or take a 7 result from this one. Okay, I like that. So, kind of looking at all the classes now, the as a kind of whole concept. I mean, it takes a lot, and it's not a ton of writing, but it does take a lot to like come up with all of these concepts. I'm not as well enough versed in the mech anime or what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, just like mech anime or like this kind of genre, like what its fiction is. And like I love everything about this, but I'm not someone that's like the most engaged or has watched a lot of media, and so I don't know the tropes as well as this person clearly does. I mean, some of the ones here are very obvious and like kind of like, yeah, obviously this is a playbook that needed to exist. Like Old Gen, Princess, New Girl, all very obvious playbooks. Mockingbird, once you have this corruption thing, oh well, what if someone who's corrupted? Stim Blast feels very obvious, but very, and I say obvious not as in like, oh how like simple and like why is this in the game? It's so like, it's like not a subversion of any tropes or anything. I think it's very important for Powered by the Pocket, especially because you can tell the writer has had fun putting all of this together. Yeah, exactly. You can tell the writer is a fucking freak, affectionate. Yes. Excuse me. I had to get some water there. But yeah, so like when I read through this, like I think a lot of these are like very clearly needed to exist. I think in fact like probably the first 6 here are like obviously this needs to exist in the system. Something like this needs to exist. Actually, I would also call that about AM. I think that something like VAT Grown makes a lot of sense for this system. It didn't have to be presented in this exact way, but someone of like, yeah, like a character concept that has like a sexual or like perverse, like someone outside of this does, and a specific NPC or the handler and the handler have very explicit control over you. And there are different ways you could do that, but VAT Grown is definitely one way to do that. I guess I'm like, and as I kind of the point I'm trying to make here is like, there's not anything that's like very obviously missing, you know, but there's also something along the lines of like, more choices are always fun. But I don't know, like, I can't find or think off of the top of my head like any, oh, well, where's this obvious concept that exists and it's such a huge trope in this media that, you know, why isn't it there? And also I think in some cases 10 classes is a lot of classes. That's a good number of classes. You know, you typically have a 4-person table or a 5-person table, 4 players, 1 GM, 1 handler in this case, who's obviously still a player, but, you know, isn't taking on these instances. I think, and so even if you're the last one to make your character and you still have, you know, in that instance, you'd still have six options to choose from, which is a lot of choices. And I think it's a good number, and it'd be cool if they added more, but, and like, it's one of those things where just like, yeah, obviously more could be better and cool. More interesting designs that work and aren't just like repeating others, as long as they're done well, is almost always more interesting. Having more options is always better, but like, I don't know. Is there anything that springs to mind for you, chat, that like, oh, this is very clearly a trope that they haven't played into or made a concept for? I don't think there is one, really. Like, yeah, I don't know. All right, next is the frames. Also, another thing that I'm very excited for is if this game ever gets art. I know that a lot of the people that are into this kind of thing are like Lancer. That's like one of the big tabletop RPGs. Although I wouldn't, hot take, I don't really even think it's a TTRPG. It's just a combat system. There's no tabletop. It is the difference between Lancer and Warhammer 40k 4000 is basically that they don't sell minis, and they might actually sell minis. That would be really cool merch if they sold minis. But like, it's not required for you to have minis to play. You know, you play on a typical board with like your generic minis or something, but like, it's not like, yeah, you buy the mini, you paint the mini, and then like, that's the whole part of the hobby, you know? Like, and maybe I'm wrong, and I've played Lancer once, but my experience in that one playthrough was, no, this is literally just, a combat system. This is just a Warhammer 40k 1000 game. You know, this is a war game. This is not a tabletop system. There's not, a military sim of TTRPGs, exactly. And like, don't get me wrong, there's so much interesting lore. There's so much like really cool writing in that system, and the type of people who enjoy or are capable or don't mind having a system that doesn't have like very clear RP game mechanics. Like, you can do great things with Lancer, and I would be happy to play in a Lancer game again. I think the mechs are so fucking cool looking, and it is fun to twiddle around in a military sim occasionally, or wargaming setting. But it doesn't have the core itch of things that draw me towards a TTRPG, and makes me not even really feel like it is one half the time. But yeah, that's just my two cents there. Okay. All right. I love the Horus mechs. Yeah. I forget what they're called, but the weird fucking ones, the ones that break the reality, are my favorite. Deal with like fucking portals and shit like that. The art of Lancer is like the best part of the game. That the mech art is so fucking beautiful. Oh yeah, Horus is yeah. I think when I played, I made a Pegasus, if I'm remembering correctly. Might have been a Pegasus. It might have been. Sorry, now I'm just looking at the fucking Lancer mechs. God, it's so cool looking. But yeah. So yeah, you have a prince autocrat. You have your prince is a beautiful frame, strong yet elegant, stoic human. She's on all the posters, the advertisements, the one they make toys out of for children. Most frames resemble screaming nightmares, as horrifying as the gorgons they face, not the prince. She is what you think of when you wish for a hero. Bunch of cool weapon ideas. Permission trigger. Gain additional permission when you go off duty if you followed your fan base's demands. You have a collection of fan bases who watch the drone thread of your exploits, demographics. Choose your fan base's 2 demands that eat you alive. Choose 2 that your fan base demands that you be, and 2 that they'll eat you alive if you show. Oh, some of these are great. Oh, some of these would hurt so much. You may treat your demographics as additional identities that cannot be replaced, and you mark these identities when following all their demands. Going against their demands requires you to keep your head or disobey orders. You must continue your fanbase's expectations regardless of whether anyone is watching, and your responsibility is to track them without error. Failing to do so will end in punishment. Performer, when you say that you're playing for it, spend heat and roll. You can act exactly as you wish without hesitating or dropping the mask. Nobody can tell you're acting unless you break character. Choose one and they'll choose one. Deepen your bond with them, raise your status, erase any of your tags that conflict with your act. Even if you break from your act temporarily, it'll be dismissed so long as it's only the once. As an 8 to 10, but only if you act in ways that follow your fanbase's demands. You falter, they see through your act to give you a tag and punish you for it. Requisitions. You can choose any of these using your permissions. If you're playing a quicker game, choose one of these to start. Mortal hero that we can believe in. So these are class-specific upgrade mechanics. Okay. You and your frame swap your official pronouns to he, him. You're promoted to the ace when you take this requisition. You can take it additional times for future raise your status again. Oh, that's so fucked. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Because boys are, leaders or some shit. Immortal hero. When someone seems like they may have heard one of your frame's legacies. Although also really cool he, him, lesbian vibes. If they wanted it to be. When someone seems like they have heard your frame's legacy, they have. They met your predecessor, they may ask you a question about her, and they'll give you a tag or comparing the 2 of you. You saw them once on a previous mission and have strong opinions about you, gain a bond with them. They're keeping things close to the chest for now, but something is definitely up. Ask your handler what expression flashes on their face when they see you. TV interviews. Adjust your fanbase's demands. When you go off duty, gain a new demographic and lose an old one. Adjust your demands accordingly. Inspire a fan to join the foundation and introduce them. They have a bond with you and are part of one of your demographics. Bad girl. When you disobey orders on a 7 to minus, when you roll 7 to minus, disobey orders, you can treat it as 11 plus, as long as you're acting in accordance with your famous demands of you. Tell your handler that they gain the play, reveal. Tell your handler that they gained the play, reveal how their disobedience was a part of your plan. Growing fan base. You can do a concert or live performance of some kind next time you go off duty. It'll be wildly successful due to the amount of money dumped into it, and you can pick a new demographic you appeal to. Write a girl asset representing your near worldwide fame. You may take this requisition multiple times. You have +2 in flirt with anyone who is a member of your fan base or who is lower status than you. Power balance. Very good. Very classic. Traditional. Okay, that's wild. What specifically, Samus? Sorry, I didn't see that comment. Which one specifically were you talking about? Are you talking about the stop one here? Here where we can believe in? Oh, the he, him pronouns thing, like you said. Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Because you have the boy robot. The consume mech. The Gorgons that the priestess frames incorporate. The Gorgons that priestess frames incorporate are, as far as the Foundation science can tell, biological. They still need to eat like any living thing. The engineers of a consume took that fact and repurposed it. The frame becoming specifically designed for capture and hold missions against Gorgons, escaped girls, and harpies. The Gorgons that the priestess frames incorporate are, as far as... Okay, biological mech. That fact and repurposed it. Okay. Grabby hands. Look, chat, grabby hands. Void step core, very good. Cage plating, neuro shards, feral claws. Autonomous. Permission trigger. You gain additional permission when you go off duty if you brought back a prisoner for your handler. Oh, very good. Starvation. Your frame's hunger is measured in levels. When you link your frame... when you link to your frame or anyone including you becomes helpless near you, increase your starvation. It also sort of fun that her mechs are apparently super scary and serious, and then the him mech is the public-facing, cute, pretty, decorative one. Yeah, as all boys should be. I say this in jest largely, but you know. Of course. This is more of me saying, this is me turning more into Dove. Because he is absolutely feral towards femboys in that like and likes and loves a pretty man. Your frame's hunger is measured in levels. When you link to your frame, or anyone including you becomes yep. While you're quiet, you can mark it like attack against yourself. Gnawing. Immediately gain 3 heat. You drool constantly. Gain additional temporary girl assets. Starving until you drop back to quiet. Extremely relatable. Ooh. Yes. You're no longer capable of coherent thought at Ravenous. You cannot spend heat on plays. All plays to seek out food roll with a +4. Your level of starvation can be used to Your level of starvation can be used as attack against you if you're gnawing or ravenous. Only the eat play can lower your hunger. Oh, good. Consume. When you lunge at someone and put your jaws around them, spend heat and roll. On an 8 to 10, you place your jaws around them. Pause this moment, then make a choice. Damage one of your assets if they are not vulnerable to you. Bite down, their blood spilling between your teeth. Damage one of their assets and reduce your starvation. If they are vulnerable to you, you may instead consume them entirely, killing them and reducing your starvation to quiet. Swallow them alive and hold them prisoner inside you. If they are not vulnerable to you, they'll be ripped out. If they are not vulnerable to you, they'll be able to rip their way out. Horrifying. As an 11 plus, as an 8 to 10, but pick the first option. You must kill them if you can. They fight you off, damaging one of your assets, and they were vulnerable to you if they managed. And if they were vulnerable to you, they've managed to escape. Note: a foe is vulnerable to you if they are helpless. Their core is exposed, or you are in your frame and they are not, or they are an NPC. So, the thing I guess is I'm not 100% is like, when the rules apply, is this only when you're in your mech? Like, obviously the frame is the one with the hunger, but when you link to your frame, and it says, or anyone including you becomes helpless near you. I think that's very funny is like, you get more hungry as they become helpless around you. So if they're vulnerable. Also, very slight nitpick, but I don't like vulnerable and helpless being two different words. If you mean helpless, the capital H helpless, just say helpless. I guess it says or their core is exposed. So like there's more conditions. But yeah, I guess that's the reason why. So yeah, you feed on them, and then yeah, okay. That's a really cool 2 mechanics. Let us partake. You can choose any of these using permissions. If they're a quicker game, you may choose one from the start. When you dive deep, you may also allow your frame to eat you. When you do, choose one. Damage a girl asset and regrow 2 frame assets. Allow your frame to eat a girl asset entirely, even a damaged one. Excrete a new frame asset, which is touched by the void. When you merge, your appearance will have a change to something new. Say what you look like now. One girl asset becomes touched by the void. Human hound. You have a sense and smell beyond that of a human. When you check sensors, you always can ask, what can I smell? My favorite pastime of using cannel is as a metaphor for lesbianism. Amazing. Pharaoh, when you succumb to impulse, roll -1 if you're quiet, +1 if you're gnawing, +3 if you're ravenous. Succumb to impulse. Which is that? Oh, is that one of the other game's rules? Or am I... Okay. What is succumb to impulse? Or is that just the name of the move itself? Risk factor. Okay, so it's a mockingbird thing. Okay. I am confused with that as what you get pluses there. Oh, keep reading. This is the move. I'm very smart, chat. I just simply needed to read. On 8 to 10, you're off leash. Gain one of the following tags. While you have these tags, take action following it, or your hunger doesn't count as disobeying orders, although you may still face punishment. Rabid Munt, +1 to all out assault or flirt when you have this tag. And a Bloodhound checks sensors while you have this tag. Okay, that's very fun. On an 11+, you're off leash and you're out of control. Your handler picks 1 tags from above, and you must immediately make a play to reaffirm the tag. The leash snaps tight around your neck. Your handler can give you any tag they like, and while you have it, any attempt to disobey orders automatically gets a 7-. Time to eat. When you make a play against someone and roll an 8+, you can always mark an identity and just give them the tag just meat. Pick someone other than your handler or one of their superiors, and you have the legal permission to eat them. You may take this requisition multiple times. Oh my fucking god. Hey, can I eat them? Can I use my XP to eat them, please? Yeah, all out assaults is what I call flirting too. You'll fit right in with us then, Jenny. You'll fit right in. Ontological consumption drive. When you eat something, if you kill it, you may destroy it so utterly so that nobody can even remember it existed in the first place. Just a nibble. So as long as you're not ravenous, when you eat someone, you can instead choose. Place your teeth on them gently, holding yourself back, deepening your bond with them. If you rolled an 11+, you become helpless against them for as long as a part of their body is inside your mouth. Hot. Hot. So the Scumroll post refers to when you impulsively do something in the role-playing. You trigger it no matter if you want to or not have to roll, as opposed to the other characters who don't have the extra trigger for such RP moments. Got you. Thank you. But it's something you can take as an XP thing. It's a requisition, specifically. So you can take this, but you get this option. Gotcha. I don't know if that was just me being stupid or the game actually could explain it slightly better. Priestess frames often begin as scavenged harpies. Their girls dead or separated, the umbilical spikes and flesh melds cut away to make room for a cockpit. Janus is an experiment. When a prospect pilot steps into it for the first time, they find the frame's original pilot staring back at them. Ooh, I love sword mechs with swords. I love I love with all of my heart when we have unbeatable, unknowable range technology and guns, and your choice and all of that is like, nah, I want a cool sword instead. Very good. Also, rapiers are just one of my favorite weapons. I think they're really cool looking. Also, they find you Fram's original pilot staring back at them. It's such good lore. Such good writing. Permission trigger. Gain additional permission when you go off duty if you've demonstrated to a foundational official, including your handler, that your harpy core is harmless. Harpy core. An ex-girl lost herself to the Gorgons, never surgically remade into a mockingbird, lives still attached inside of the Janus's cockpit. She begins the game with the following tags. Drugged, she is helpless. Restrained, she cannot make any plans. Muzzled, she cannot speak. Recovering from surgery, she is in pain. You cannot communicate with her or give her a name. Attempting to remove her tags will result in punishment, and they will be replaced by the Foundation when you go off duty. She otherwise functions as a normal harpy. So this triggers almost every time then. I mean, like, roleplay. It gives you an option or a reason to do some role-playing things, obviously. And that's cool. Also, I just really want to make things, like, weird and sexual with the Harpy Core. That would be really fun. Oh, no! You need to sit in the Harpy Girl's lap to pilot the mech properly. You feel her struggle against you. Sorry, if anyone ends up picking the next when I first play this and they pick this, they will be required to sit in the lap of the said girl. That is the only way they were able to make the mech work. Oops. Sorry about that. Hope her lap is comfortable. When you plug into your Neuralink into the Harpy's spinal cord, roll +1 for each tag she has. The connection goes smoothly. Pick 2. Yes, deepen your bond with her. Gain additional girl asset, Harpy cognition until you unplug. Emotional offset emotional load until you unplug. Ask her a question. The direct brain-to-brain links mean you may communicate freely. Your will completely overrides her. Pick 4. She fights the best she can. You can only pick 1 and erase one of her tags. Gotcha, so that's how things get a little uncomfortable. If all of her tags are released, nothing is stopping her from taking the frame over, immediately causing all framed access to be touched by the void. Living battery. Cool. That's a very fun. Definitely the one I kind of most want to pick from if I ever played this game. If/when. Because I really like this and would love to play it at some point as a PC. Vat grown with a Harpy core, having the Dami Succubus mech whispering in your ear to rebel every time you connect to it. Ooh, very good options. Very good option. You can choose any of these using permissions. If you're playing a quicker game, choose one. Okay. When you go off duty, your frame becomes inseminated if it wasn't already. When you birth a child from your frame's implanted womb, spend heat, remove inseminated, and roll. I'm sorry, what? I'm not surprised. It's just a little out of left field. When you birth a child from your frame's implanted womb, spend heat and remove the inseminated. Your child is obedient and vicious. Your handler will write it as a class 0 Gorgon of any type. So, any type with 2 assets. So is this something that we control? Because I guess it's obedient, so yeah. Your child flow is willful, though it will not harm you. Your handler will write a class 1 or class 3 Gorgon of any type and with 3 assets. Oh, these are 2 separate things. Your child is not the Gorgon, I think. I'm not kink shaming. I'm kink asking why. Exactly. Look, as we all know, if you can't get your trans girlfriend pregnant, you're not trying hard enough. You simply need to try harder. It is a skill issue, as we all know. Your child cannot understand what you want. It sits pitifully where it was born. Your handler will write a class 2 Gorgon of any type with 1 asset. I'm still confused if the child is the Gorgon. I'm not quite sure how to run this move. I guess. Like, is this a human child? Is this a harpy child? Is this a small Gorgon child? Sounds like it is, yeah. That was my first assumption, is like, it is the Gorgon. Yeah. Your handler will write it. It being the child. Yeah, okay. And it is something that you control and could presumably use as like a little helper. You're authorized to punish the harpy as you wish, although you're not authorized to kill her. You remove her tags at any point, but will face punishments still if you free her. So you must ensure that any tags you give her will keep her under control. Void storage. When you gain void while plugged into the harpy, you can store the void in her. The changes of the void take place while you are plugged into her, and the Foundation can surgically remove 1 void without damaging the assets when you go off duty. When you gain void plugged into the harpy, you can store the void in her. The changes of the void will only take place while you're plugged into her. The Foundation can surgically remove 1 damage without can remove 1 void without damaging the asset. Okay, cool. That's just useful. Universal plug. You can use anyone as a living battery, not just the harpy. If you do, on an 8+, you may give them a tag. Ooh, I really want to take this. That sounds really good. Because if we reread... Yeah, you can just plug into anybody and get these things. That's hot. Plugging into someone's brain, that's pretty hot. If you roll an 8+, you may bring the harpy with you when you go off duty. Otherwise, she spends her time in surgery like normal. She gains a leash and a collar. Oh yeah, this is just my harpy pet. Don't mind her. She doesn't bite. Well, she usually doesn't bite me, I should say. Doctor Mark II. Alright, I am once again at our ad break timey. So I am going to do another set of ads here, because Trick requires us to run ads. So please, everyone, get up, stretch, have a bend, get some fluids in you, make sure you do some self-care, eat some food, take your meds if you haven't. And yeah, we'll be back in 3 to 5. Bye-bye. Oop. Break screen. All right, we are back. Thank you so much for waiting. All right, we're on to the doctor frame. Feeling good, feeling spicy. Hope you are all to chat. So, Dr. Doctor was one of the rare series of support frames designed to increase survivability in the field without directly contributing much to firepower, giving pilots the ability to fall back in combat for quick repairs. She was praised by handlers for a 30% increase in cadre survivability metrics, but slowly phased out for cost and efficiency reasons. We love this. Yeah, Pandora thing is like those pregnation kinks where a girl clearly loves whatever came out of her despite how it got there. Yeah, no, that I understand like the base concept. I'm just like, I guess it's just like this is a Gorgon. We can RP how we want, but it feels like it happens every time. Like when you go in off duty, just like, I don't know how often you go off duty, but you get so many you'd have so many goddamn fucking children by the end of the game. And I guess if that's your kink, that's kind of what you're into, and that's valid. So you're small, you're rail bayonet, scrabbling claw, standard beam shotgun, mesh wings, agility thrusters, brainwave sensors, adaptive camouflage, prey AM. Permission trigger. When you go off duty, if you gave someone else credit for something you did, if you gave someone else credit for something you did, they get a permission. Planned obsolescence. Mark one on this track whenever you use an nanobot injection, your cadre fails a mission, a member of your cadre dies, your handler rolls high budget strain at the start of off duty. Become the brood mother from the first Dragon Age game. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. And hey, if that's what you're into, more power fucking to you. And like, don't get me wrong, I do have a breeding kink. It's just not like, I don't know, like I could get behind it, but it's just like, I guess I would prefer a tiny bit more direction of like, what's the purpose? Also, this is directing to the YouTube chat. It's the Pokemon mechanic. Oh God. Oh, it's the yeah, sure, why not? Why not? Just get a bunch of poke. How can I help you? I'm just addressing some of the people in the YouTube chat because we don't usually get YouTube chats over there. How can I help you? What are you confused by? We are reviewing a tabletop RPG called The Girl Frame. Good to know that I have high budget mechanics that I get to roll. When your track completely fills, your frame is taken to be scrapped for other to serve Foundation money. Lose all plays from this frame and pick a new one. When you stab someone with your nanobots, mark planned obsolescence, spend some heat, and roll. On an 8 to 10, your nanobots flood her system. She gains however much heat you spent. Pick 1 to 2. She undamages 2 assets. The nanobot steers through her Neuralink and into her body. She can remove something affecting her, conditioning, conversation, injury, a tag, an effect from another playbook, etc. Nanobot tops her up and she can unmark an identity. 1 to 2. Cool. Then how about send her into overdrive and you pick 2. She gains 5 heat. 7 minus, she unmarks. Requisition. You can choose any of these. If you're playing a quicker game, choose 1. And unmark 1 box whenever you take if you're playing a quicker game, you choose one of these stops whenever you take a requisition. Okay, so that's just in general. So that's how you keep your mech going, is by spending requisition. Okay, that's really cool. So you can only spend like 1 or 2 in a season, or a mission. But you have to keep putting money into the mech to keep it alive if you want to keep using it. That's really cool. Borrowed wings. When you tear off a damaged asset from another frame, you spend at least 2 heat and remove it from the other frame entirely. Graft it onto yourself and repair it. Add any additional assets gained through this play will be moved back by the engineers when you go off at duty. Fascinating. That's really cool. I really like that. It's like, hey, sorry, you're not using this right now. Can I have it? Running ragged. When someone calls out for you, you can either mark one of your tags to have you right there by their side right away and ready for action. That's really nice. The cute nurse! Aww. When you give someone medical care, deepen your bond with them. I love it. I love it. And I guess also addressing the YouTube comment, if you're confused, you might want to go back on the stream a little bit, because that might be able to give us a little bit more context. But yeah, we're reviewing a mech anime game. Here for support. When you hide behind someone, spend heat and roll. On an 8 to 10, they have to protect you. Nobody can hurt you while they're protecting you, except them. They may deepen their bond with you. Oh, is my internet? We still live? We still good? All right. Cool. On 11 plus, as an 8 to 10 is not a good phrase. That's really clunky. I would prefer if that got rewritten to something a little bit more clean. Except like use the rules above, or use the 8 to 10 rules except, or something. Except they can choose not to protect you. If they do, choose one. Give them a tag, lower their status. Okay. It's all too chaotic, and they lose track of you. The handler will make a play, and you're more in danger now than when you hid. Yep. First reward. When you take someone under your care, even if another rule in the game contradicts this, you can keep them alive. It doesn't matter how injured they are or how much they should have died on the spot. They're alive. You can keep them that way, and if you spend your next off time caring for them, they'll recover. Metal Angel. That's also really cool. I love that. When you die, mark planned obsolescence instead. When you're helpless, you can mark planned elapses to stop being helpless. Adrenaline junctures. That's very good. The Wyvern point 4. Oh. Wyvern Frame was never finished. She was originally made for a full cadre to pilot, a mobile base for expeditions into the void space. The testing cadres all died, and the concept was repurposed. She's too enormous for one person to handle, too large a weight to bear, a behemoth for 8 girls that you must pilot alone. your frame asset, you have the frame asset enormous, which doesn't count against your maximum frame assets and can't be replaced. Pick 2 other and detail them. Secondary gunners, nuclear claws, shadow generator, missile bay, the plate, adaptive quadrupality, star core, the wolf jaw, gravity well. The wolf jaw is very evocative. Gain an additional permission when you go off duty if you bring your handler something they find interesting. I hope that gets rewritten to something a little bit more specific, but it's not bad. It's just like a little generic. I guess find something in the mech. Is that what they're kind of like? When you explore, yeah, because there's like things about exploring. Okay, I get it. Keep reading. Usually that usually helps. When you explore your frame, say if you're bringing anyone along with you and spend heat. Ask your frame a question and unmark an identity. I don't know, 8 to 10. What do I find in the server rooms? Engines, cots, cockpit. What do I find in its halls? Yeah, kitchen. Yeah, cool. That's really cool. On an 11 plus, ask your frame 2 questions from above, but your handler chooses 1 from below, unmarked 2 identities. It takes you some time to get back to safety. Something with your frame doesn't want to let you go, and you'll have to make a play for your escape. Your handler chooses 1 from each, unmark an identity. Very good. Your frame is played by the entire table, including you. Yes. I love when games explicitly like, all right, we're in this scene. You're going to be playing this part of the scene. You're going to be playing this part of the scene. You know, like getting the other players who are not involved in the scene playing NPCs. A lot of fun. Also a great way to stop having so much stress as on the GM. I love doing that at my table. Because I struggle to manage 2 people in a conversation. I'm working on it, but it is a hard skill to get good at. To manage talking and thinking as 2 people at once. That's hard. When you keep your head while piloting, you're always big enough in addition to your other choices. You can hold other vital frames within your frame for transportation. Hell yeah. And this is just, stuff that is true. This is not upgrades. A heavy burden. When you attempt to rouse your frame into action, spend heat and roll. You link perfectly, dancing through its crushing neural impulses and coaxing it into action. Ah, yes, you have found the clicker training. You still need to do something a little bit more interesting with that. But for now, it has no limit. So do it as you wish. It's also very appropriate for the stream. Oh my gosh, thank you for the follow. Lucky B, thank you for the follow. Oh my god. Welcome in. What does this button do? Presses. It should just play a little thing at the bottom. It might not be doing that on this. Do I have the goddamn thing set up properly? I might not have redeem set up properly on this. Yeah, I don't think I do. I set it up on all the other overlays correctly, but so the thing is this is like the most tertiary stream thing that I have, and I haven't set up those overlays. So it normally pops up a little thing, and it just says clicker training redeemed, but we need to do more with that. It's something on the list that we keep forgetting to do. All right. But you have been clicker changed, Trat, or I have been clicker trained. One of the two, whatever you prefer. When you link perfectly, dancing through its crushing neural impulses and coaxing it to action. Your frame becomes roused, and you can erase roused to choose strike with inevitable fury, crushing a foe's asket beneath your bulk. When someone makes a play against you, proclaim that you are too big to be affected by it, and they must make another play instead. Pin someone down. They must deal with you before they can do anything else. Hot. On 11 plus, you drag a beast into the roaring frenzy, even if it crushes your mind through the link. Erase 2 identities and gain 1 to 10 heat, and your frame becomes roused. Even as it crushes your mind through the link. God, that's so much heat. 1 to 10. Your frame mercilessly shatters yourself for daring to try and awaken it. Erase an identity, and you'll always lack last until you unlink with it. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright. Crushing bulk. When you engage the enemy, you must add the following list of options to the list. Encircle them, winding yourself all the way around in every direction. Crush something small, a spite class or regular vehicle entirely under your frame. Very good. This is for the size kink girlies, you know? I am the size kink girlies, by the way. Renovation permission forms. Pick one room of your frame, fix it to somewhere nice, restoring it to its former glory, and choose one. Find an object in the previous cartridge shouldn't have had. Find an object from your handler's past, ask him what it is. Find an object steeped in the void. Write down what you find as a girl asset. You may take this record string multiple times. Deep exploration. Write 2 new questions you may ask of your frame. Oh, it's such a simple thing, but this is a conversation I think I had last stream, but I love when the game gives you flexibility to edit moves and gives the players and rewards them for their creativity. Because oftentimes people aren't going to want to ask, or at least in my experience of playing games in my group, they sometimes struggle to ask the questions that are on the list because they find the list too limiting. And so giving people more options to add more things to the list, I think, is really cool and beautiful. And really good game design. Wrath AM. When you unleash your frame's artificially created mind, spend heat and roll. On 8 to 10, pick one of the followings to unleash. If you haven't already, name it. Anyone may play it. Ask your handler what rules AM follows. Once blank. Once the frame's gunner. Once the frame's navigator. Once the frame's captain. Sarah. Once the frame's battery. That is fascinating. That's already crossed out. I think that's very funny. Because it makes you better at disobeying orders. On 11 plus, pick an AM to unleash. Your handler gives you a tag. Each tag alters the AM second rule. Each tag it has alters the second AM rule. Okay. Your handler picks an AM to unleash and gives you a tag. Protector. When you use yourself as a shield, pick something you're protecting and spend heat and roll. They become shielded. They may deepen the bond with you. While shielded, their assets cannot be damaged. They stop being shielded if you move away unless you're carrying them in your frame. They become shielded, and anyone trying to get them to them can tell the attempt is hopeless. If they give up, they can give you a tag as a parting shot. you can't protect them, weaken your bond with them, and your handler makes a play. Cool. Yeah, that's really fun. The Enforcer. So yeah, those were we have the 2 priestess classes. Those were the Legion class. We have another autocratic class. Why aren't these sorted by class? That's another very small, light organizational nitpick. Hi, Sam! How is you? All right. The Enforcer is mostly obscured by classified information in redacted documents, but all those who've piloted her understand her true purpose. Seek out and crush the disobedience with the cadre. I am doing good as well. Crushinator. Yeah, I'm having a great time reading through these. It's a really fun, beautiful game. It's fun to just yap about games that I love and learn about a game that I'm learning to love, I guess. And it gives me an outlet to like actually properly read through the system. Because, like, what I'll do often in cases is I'll, like, skim through shit. Which I think gives me the actual context to play the game. But it is nice to, like, talk through and, like, actually properly read everything that the writers so painstakingly wrote down. And gives you a really interesting, like, view of the system. And a lot more than I normally get. I normally get that through watching someone else play the system, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I'm having a blast. Insectile legs, cloak film, vindication rifle is very good. Black plate, incendiary knife, nanobot mace, hacking module, shot missile, shotgun arm. You gain additional permission when you go off duty if you've bought your handler a rebel prisoner or evidence of a cadre's disobedience. Very good, very good. Obedience conditioning. Your job is to enforce your handler's rulings, so as long as you're not the dog, you gain the following benefits. You're considered trusted. When it comes to the truth, you can always volunteer to carry out punishments. Any NPC who's not a superior officer you accuse of rebel activity will be locked up until proven innocent. While the Foundation itself considers you to be trustworthy, your handler may still use their own judgment in regards to how they treat you. That's a very very lovely way for the go off duty mechanic to work. Is still get the XP, baby. Doesn't matter if they're innocent or not. I would never be able to play this. I'm not mean enough at like my core. You know, at least not from a player perspective. But I'm very glad that this exists. That's very good. It's a very good trope. When you take hold of someone and spend heat and roll on an 8 to 10, they can't escape your grasp. If they are a girl, NPC, or handler, they become helpless against you. Wow, you can just do that to the handler. It doesn't matter. As an 11 plus on an 8 to 10, but you must immediately punish them as your handler instructs. How does that work if they're the handler? That's very interesting. How would that work? Interesting. Handler masochist vibes? Choose 2 on a 7 or minus. They slip their grip. Ask what they take from your person. Ask a tag they give you. You got it all wrong. Your handler trusts their due for approval. Roll your status. You hesitate, and they make you helpless in return if they have a weapon on hand. Requisitions. You can choose any of these using your permissions. If you're playing a quicker game, choose one at the start. Deepen your bond with your handler. While you have an intense bond with your handler, you can add +2, -2 when rolling to go off duty and are allowed to sleep in your handler's room. Personal firearm. You were given a pistol and access to ammunition. Add it to your girl assets. If you ever lose it, you can get it back the next time you roll any plus go off duty. Pavlov's soldier. Seems like a fun combo with the classes that like no free will. Party full of teachers' pets, but one of them is scary and herding the others around like a sheepdog. Exactly. Yeah, no. Very, very sheepdog. Pavlov's soldier. When you keep your head, if you're obeying orders. It's also very sadist vibes. But a sadist who plays by the rules of the system. A sadist who's also a puppy is into puppy play. When you keep your head, if you're obeying orders, you may always take the 2 following officers. I'm a good soldier, and this feels good as sex. Girl assets, bra, purse, this gun I found. Exactly. Overwhelming firepower. When you all-out assault on 11+, you can damage a second enemy asset. Oh my god, they're a switch. Yeah, exactly. It's like that, like... It's like... Yeah, that mix of, like, sadomasochism, but also, like... A dog who... loses control and starts like doming you, or like that, like almost like that the werewolf kind of like ravaging you kind of like trope in like theory and like fantasy. Hello. Compliance virus. When you infect a frame with virus while you're in her cockpit, while you infect a frame with your virus while in her cockpit, she becomes infected. This infection spreads to anyone who links with her. Girls who are infected can have the infection purged by you by touching her to give her an order as though they were you were higher status than her. Frames who were infected can have this infection purged by you at any time to inflict sudden and terrible pain on their pilots, which acts as immediate 11+ enforce initiative. So this gives you control over other people. That's very good. Snoop. When you poke through someone's stuff, spend heat and roll. What illegal item do you find? What embarrassing thing do I show off to everyone? What valuable thing do I pocket? What personal thing do I leave ruined or defiled? What do I find that you could be used as proof of rebel activity? On 11+, ask 1 to 2, and you trash the rest of their stuff, leaving it a mess. Damage anything relevant assets. You may ask 1 on a 7-, but ask, what are you glad I missed? Very good. Yeah. It's going to piss me off from an organizational standpoint. Put the 3 autocrat classes first, then you do the priestess, then you do the legion. Like, why are they mixed? It's not even alphabetically mixed. That very minor autism about book design. But yeah. I have feelings about it. Sue me. Alright, typically a void and a Gorgon influence is quarantined within the frame. Risk of void corruption damaging the pilot as much as possible. Reducing the risk. Changeling, however, takes the opposite approach, inundating the pilot's brain with experimentally filtered void. This affects the pilot on effects on the personalities. The pilot's personality are being closely monitored and possibly for advantageous use. Pick 2 frame assets and detail them. Psychic spikes, pulse wave generator, minefield sensors, mask maker, cephalophilic limbs, screaming. God. Just a mech that's fucking screaming. Oh my fucking god. That's a fucking concept. Also, Sam, how are my audio levels doing today? Does everything sound good? I'm trying to talk into the mic very sensually. Compartmentalization AM. Dream gun. You go off duty if your adjustments led to another girl's good behavior. Adjustments. I'm sure that's something that gets discussed later. Blank slate. When someone tells you who you are, spend heat and roll. On an 8 to 10, you hold on to yourself, deepen your bond with them. When someone tells you who you are, hold on to yourself, deepen your bond with them. If they push on the matter, they can give you a tag, but they're overstepping and must lose their status, lower their status. On 11 plus, the void rolls within you, eating everything. Erase all identities and gain the identity blank slate. At any time, you may replace blank slate with an identity possessed by someone you're talking to. The void turns acidic within your head. Erase all identities and memories for the last 3 minutes. Someone tells you who you are. Psychic strings. You have psych strings. Nodules of the void that spontaneously form in the brains of those around you. When you deepen your bond with someone, give them a psych string. Any characters you start with a bond with. Any characters you start with. Any characters you start a bond. That's a mess of a sentence. Any characters you have a bond with. You start with a bond. Any characters you start with a bond with have a psych string. Yeah, I know what they're saying, but that needs to be rewritten. Fingers in the brain. When you reach out to someone with their psych strings, erase one of the strings and make their pause joy to presenting opportunity. See through their eyes, interpret them making a play. They'll have to choose a different course of action. Ask them a question which they must answer. Take +1 or +- to flirt. If they are a girl, Gorgon, Harpy, or your handler, they may pick one of the options from below. They ask you a question which you must answer. They erase one of your identities. They give you a tag. Interesting. I'm still not quite sure what adjustments mean. Yeah. I mean, this is just something with, I keep saying this, but an example of the unpolishedness when it's just like the answers to questions are slightly more complicated and harder to answer. But that's normal. That's okay. I guess the psychic strings are adjustments. Yeah, like just a note, what is this adjustments? When you, yeah. Requisitions. Yep. Web implant. You have access to someone while they are unconscious. If you have access to someone while they are unconscious, helpless, or not expecting you, you can give them 3 psych strings. When you all out assault on an 8+, you may also give them a psych string. This feels very useful. That feels like almost necessary. Immediately take. Mindfuck. Add the following option to fingers in the brain. Initiate sex with them through your psych string regardless of distance. That's hot. Brain sex. Live reconditioning module. When your assets become damaged while you're in your frame, you may gain one of the following tags if you don't already have one. Masochistic, obedient, or pet. If someone is in your cockpit with you when one of your assets becomes damaged, you can force them to use this play and pick what tag they must take. Body of clay. When you allow your frame to change, you spend heat and roll. Afterwards, ask your handler if you're more to their taste now. If they say yes, raise your status. Otherwise, they give you a tag. On an 8 to 10, they can adjust these things. On a 11 plus, pick 3 and detail your changes. The handler picks 1 and details your changes. Your handler picks any they like and details the changes. Very good. Add the following options to fingers in the brain. Fry an NPC's human brain. Your handler can choose if they're helpless or completely dead. Make them damage one of their own assets. That's also very strong. Very cool. Oh. I need to... Yeah. I'm speaking too much for my throat, chat. That's why I'm getting these little headache. I need to work on my breath control. Project Enuku. Uses the emotional link transferable, or the let be. Let be. I am a child. Very funny. To the fullest potential by wirelessly linking every living thing within an area, allowing a pilot to minimize civilian casualties and promoting intercadre bonding. This project was nearly strapped to a 64% suicide rate among pilots. Oh, goody. Oh, goody. Bunch of various weapons. You gain if you successfully minimize casualties. When you mark your last identity, if anyone else is in the scene with you, choose one or you die. Cut off a bond you have with them, rewrite an asset, beg for a purpose. If they give you one, write it as an identity. If they don't, you become helpless. Tear off one of your assets, gain 5 heat, and make a play against them. Just because you're linked into everything, everywhere, Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Emotional relay. When you activate your emotional relay, choose 2 that apply until the end of the scene. The first time each person makes a play against you, ask them what their dominant emotion is. Turn what they tell you into a tag on them. You can speak directly into people's heads through migraine aura and hallucinations. Okay, this isn't a roll, it's just something that you do. This is like seeing everything at once, all at once. When someone acts, you can erase one of their tags. If you do, you have a chance to interrupt. You can damage one of your assets to make a person helpless with a touch. You can always sense a vague locations of people within a quadrant square. And your handler chooses one from below. An NPC dies, you hear them die. If you're in your frame, erase an identity and for heat. And add for heat. If you're not in your frame, you become helpless. Everyone you have an intense bond with may immediately choose a play. You must pick and make one of those plays. Immediately trigger feedback loop. Feedback loop triggers when you mark your last identity or this. Got it. All right, and requisitions. Fighter fawn procedure, get +1. Get +1 to all assault whoever hurt you until you make the play. Get +1 to flirt with whoever hurt you until you make the play. The bonuses to flirt and all art from this play are stack and with no maximum. So they keep damaging your assets. You continuously can stack bonuses. Interesting. Obsessive. Choose someone to be your obsession. You always gain the effects of having an intense bond with them. They may once per scene give you a tag with an offhand comment, look, or their absence. If they die or you endure all off duty without seeing them, make the feedback loop play 5 times in a row. Then pick someone else to be your obsession. Okay. If they die or you endure all off duty while seeing them, that's awesome. I love that. And then pick someone else. Okay. Unlike normal symmetrical bonds, your connection with your obsession is one-sided. Your actual bond doesn't exist, and you will gain all the benefits having an intense bond while they'll get nothing. Oof. Okay. Processor core. You can make living minds within your relay's range into your frame's processors. Spend heat and roll. Your handler and any Gorgons are immune. You may also make your cadre and up to one other person exempt. When you make living minds within your relay's range into... Okay, yeah, okay. That makes sense. Choose 2 benefits while linked. Race an identity, unmark a different identity. Gained 1 to 3 heat. You may pick this multiple times. Give yourselves the tag to the People's Champion. Gain a temporary asset, Eyes Everywhere. Gain temporary asset, Will of the Many. Choose 3 and also choose 2 symptoms of your processor suffer. choose 3 above, and also choose 2 below. Your processors suffer. Give them a tag reflecting each symptom, which lasts until the next time you go off duty. Okay. So these are your... Yep. Bunch of normal things to happen. Choose one symptom. Okay. Quick change implant. When you go off duty, you may erase an identity and or write a new one using their character's identity and other character's tag. You go off duty, you may erase an identity and or write a new one using another character's identity. Okay, great. So you can just adopt different identities. That's fun. That's fun. Okay. Amygdala pulse. When you go all out, engage the enemy, or put someone beneath you, you can also choose the following from the first list. Move a tag from yourself to them. Okay, stalker. You have an intense bond with someone. You always know their exact location with who they're with. When you spy on someone who thinks they're doing something private, you can give them a tag. That's just so creepy, but I love that. Because you have this, like... It's a very good class. Like, just all about spying and having control over people and, like, I mean, I can just... That 5 Vacla food times in a row. I love incredibly punishing mechanics. That if you fuck up and something happened that's not supposed to happen, you have to do this 5 times. Yep, there's a lot there. And just no wonder there's a 64% suicide rate. I wonder why. Seeing everything all at once is fucking terrifying, chat. Holy fucking shit. Why am I freezing? It's my... Okay. And the last one, the Red Queen, the Autocrat. So there are there's 3 of each class. That makes sense. The Red Queen. The Foundation believes in rigid enforcement of their ideals. The Red Queen is the encapsulation of that. Sleek, strong, state-of-the-art targeting. But most importantly, it is installed with artificial minds. All martyrs of the Foundation, handlers and pilots alike, sit within the link. All eager for a new heir to take the throne and allow them to enact their perfect justice. Okay, that's not at all horrifying at all. That's a perfectly normal thing to happen and to have going on within you. Also, strong as fuck DID vibes. Holy shit. That's some fractured system identity bullshit. That's not horrifying at all. All right. The little sister. That's very quiet C. Yep. Permission trigger. Whoever the Queen's AM grants an additional permission to... grants additional to which girl they feel. Whoever has the Queen AM grants an additional permission to whichever girl they feel served their purpose best, including themselves, so long as they are not the dog. Okay. Who has the Queen AM? Queen's Court. Okay. You have a set of 5 AMs, artificial minds. Okay, so if you have this, you get to decide who gets the permission. Okay, cool. which you can assign to characters. The queen can mark an AM and have them enforce certain behavior against their charge. The queen has permission to mark AMs, mark to raise their status. The consort to mark to make them flirt or deepen their bond with someone. The knight, mark to make them all out of souls against a target of your choice. The doll, mark them to give them automatic 7- disobey orders. The traitor, mark them to make them helpless. The M becomes unmarked when you go off duty. Okay. If an NPC or handler has an AM assigned to them, treat it like a tag. Okay. Note, by default, you begin play with 4 of your AMs assigned to you and the 5th assigned to another girl. Interesting. How do you assign them another characters? Okay. That's not clear? That's not, yeah, I don't know. So they're coming from the martyrs, the handlers and the pilot alike, say with the link, and then a connection to the link. But how do you move them? The amp, when you, oh, there it is. Fucking read. This is a complicated, maybe, I don't know if this is a me issue or this is a writing structure issue, because this is something that I've been told a lot when I was growing up writing. Is like, I'd be like, oh yeah, that explains it just below. But it's like, yeah, but I didn't know that when I read it. You know, like, how do I know to read below if it doesn't say that above? You know? I don't know. Somebody who's has better writing understanding of me could answer that question better than I probably could. Alright, I'm starting to get a little tired in my voice, and also I had surgery like a little over a week ago, so sitting in the chair with my knees bent, because I didn't quite have knee surgery, but I had surgery roughly in that area, and so I'm starting to get a little bit uncomfortable in that area. So I'm just gonna run a quick 1-minute ad, but I will stay still live because I think I'm gonna be raiding out in just a second, but I just don't want people to hit pre-rolls. So we'll be back in just a sec. All right, back. Ad should be over. And Sam, just so you know, I use she/her pronouns. I'm like 99% sure you mean the oh man and the way that 90% of people talk about it, but I am not one of them. I hope this stream has made it very clear that I'm a trans lesbian degenerate. But it, I, as a trans woman, I can be weirdly sensitive to people using man or dude or that kind of thing. It's not a big deal, and I don't hold it against people. But it is like, hey, just so you know, kind of thing. You know? But yeah, I want to at least finish this thing, so I've gotten through all of the, like, character class selections. Yeah, no, for sure. It's a very common phrase, and I'm not quite sure if, like, this just gets into, like, I really hate gendered language sometimes. This is just from a, like, personal trans woman, like, gripe. And it's not against, like, I have it with the concept of I have a problem with the concept of the English language, not anyone using the concept rules. It's one of those things where it's just like, I don't think you're doing it even on purpose. I don't think you're even trying, but it's just a personal pet peeve when, for incredibly obvious reasons. I'm a trans woman. I'm incredibly sensitive being referred to as a man, obviously. That's normal for a trans woman to experience. But it's just like, another thing, and it's just kind of a random side tangent about this. They're just like, all right, so I was learning Spanish, and I think my teacher used this example. I was like in high school or something. And it was kind of to prove the ridiculousness of it, but it is just how it works. It's like, all right, so you're addressing a stadium full of women, and there's one guy sitting in a seat. And if there's one guy in the entire fucking stadium, it's the OS. It's the male translation. That's what you end up having to use. There's any man anywhere within this giant conglomerate of people, it's the male. It's the OS. It's the OS instead of the us. Just like, really? Why? Why have gendered language at all, man? At that point. Just very funny. Alright, random side tangent. Alright, so when you have sex with someone, you weaken your bond with them or punish them while higher... When you have sex with someone, weaken your bond with them, punish them while higher status, you may assign them. Okay, that's how you do it. Begin the game with one eye assigned to a member of your cadre. Cool. Consult the court. When you consult with your court inside your frame's cockpit, spend heat and roll. Recall any of your AMs and unmark them. Create a decree. When someone with one of your AMs assigned to them fails to follow your decree, you'll know, and you can punish them remotely for it. That's an 8 to 10 on 11 plus. You can do the top, but pick an AM assigned to you. Ask your handler what advice the AM gives you. This advice counts as an order. The queen desired service from others. Consort desires sex. The knight desires someone to protect. The doll desires a master. A traitor desires escape. The court acts without your bidding. Recall 1 AM and unmark it, and assigns someone else the queen. Any AM still assigned to you will give you advice as an 11 plus. Interpreting a decree has been broken is your responsibility. Lovely. All right. Requisitions. Personality extraction. When you gain an intense bond with someone, you may create an AM copy of them and add it to your court. That's not creepy. And by creepy, I mean hot. The copy can be marked. Get +1 roll against them. Whenever you ask advice, that character's players may answer. One Girl Panopticon. That's such a good name. Holy shit, oh god, I love that name. When you observe someone from a distance, spend heat and roll. If you have an AM assigned to them, they can give you a tag. Choose up to 3 and ask. Have you gained void? Where do you find impulsive? Bunch of cool questions. What are you hiding under your clothes? My dick. No. my cute girl body that you want to touch, obviously. That's what I'm hiding under my clothes, winky face. I'm just happy to see you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what's in my pants. Choose any number to ask them, but notice observation. Choose one and ask, then they'll ask you back. Judgment on high. They give you, when you give someone a tag while your handler's watching, you can also lower their status. Biting acquisition. We know we love biting. Biting is so much fun. You may erase this requisition to levy an acquisition of misdeeds against any girl, city, base, or NPC. It will be considered the truth, and the Foundation's director will endorse any punishment or consequence you desire. You may take this requisition multiple times. Regiment Commander. The Ween may mark an AM assigned to someone to give them an order from the distance, regardless of their relative status. I'm imagining a frame that looks like all face cards of a card deck merged into a biomechanical app. That's such a cool idea. A tarot deck? Tarot, also tarot would be very good. But this is like Alice in Wonderland shit. That kind of tarot deck, yeah. That's quite cool. Has like 3 or 4 heads, or yeah. When I think about it as like a throne that is being sat on by, and then there's like those statues where it's like you're sitting on a pile of skulls. Except each of the skulls is like a face or something, maybe. That could be cool. When you strap, ayo, chat. We love some strap in this chat. The Queen may mark an AM assigned to the Bill Cipher throne. Yeah. The Queen may mark an AM assigned to someone to give them an order from a distance, regardless of their relative status. While you have an AM assigned to someone, tags you mark on them adjust their rolls by +2, -2. Memory extraction. When you strap someone down and mess with their brain, spend heat and roll. I mean, yeah. That's what always happens when you get strapped down. God, I want to get strapped bound by a cute lesbian, chat. Push his fingers together. Choose a memory from the list, remove it. If they have any identities linked to that memory, given by that person, gained in that place, on that day, etc., remove them as well. And replace them with one of your AMs. A person, place, day, anything with the time range of at least a year. Okay, yeah. On an 8 to 10, do as you do as an 8 to 10, but your handler will pick another category else to be removed. On a 7 and 9, pick one to be removed anyways, but if they give an identity or tag, if they're an NPC associated with that memory again, they regain the memory. And they may choose an AM to be assigned. Cool. Okay, so this is just like, other various upgrade mechanics. I'm probably not going to be playing that. Succubus Protocol. While you have an intense bond with another girl or a bond with an NPC, you count as higher status than anyone for the purposes of giving orders to them. Very good. Yeah, this is mostly just character sheet. Kicked puppy! Oh no! When you flirt with someone, you can roll a number of damaged girl assets you have instead of spending heat, and you can mark tags they've given you as to apply to your role. You can also ask, "How do you want to care for me?" Aww. Oh, that's cute. Once again, I'm the only trans femme top in the club. Such is life. Hey, I will top. I will absolutely top. It just will be from a submissive angle. Look, I'm just saying chastity cages and strap-ons are a beautiful combination. And I would be more than happy to be a part of that situation. Look, I'd be happy to top. I just, it just, doesn't work like that anymore. So I need, once again, if what you grow doesn't work, store-bought is fine. So yeah, just like a little bit more additional upgrades. That's cool. What are ancillary? Okay. Ancillary playbooks provide simplified experience for playing girls who have a side character. They can be used for someone's second character, NPCs who enter a frame, or by new players trying to get a feel for the system. They use girl rules, but with some implications. They cannot dive deep and may not set their own scenes. And when they go off duty, when they make a defeat play. Okay, that's cool. Notes. Ancillary girls can become full girls anytime it feels appropriate, picking a new playbook or keeping the same one. Soldier, mercenary, prodigy, revolutionary, idealist, angel wife, chained darling, war boy, abyssal acolyte. What is war boy? You're one of the pilots of the Sun Furies, a man recruited through the encrypted chat apps and anonymous message boards, broken down and built back up as a soldier using illegal conditioning and brain pattern manipulation. You have the greatest humanity. You're the greatest weapon humanity has ever built. Guns, Dad. Beast conditioning, boss of secrets. Interesting. Ooh, ooh, I love that. And I know some people that are going to love that even more. That's not for me, but oh boy, do I know people that... Look, misgender kink is not my bag. But it's somebody's, and I'm glad it's there for them. Also, this feels like it could have a really fun, there's two angles for this. It feels like it could be like a force femme angle for this character, and then when they become a full member of the cadre, they just permanently become a woman. Force femme, the war criminal, exactly. But then there's also the degradation kink of a cis or trans, really, but the bimbification is either like bimbification thing, or it could be like a detrans kink, that kind of thing, if they're the dog. Which is all super valid, but not my thing. I mean, bimbification is definitely my thing, but being force femmed. And she's like, but I'm not a boy. I'm a boy. I'm not a girl. I was like, no, you're not. Not anymore. You're not. All right. So, as I said, I do want to read through the rest of these because I'm just curious. I think it'd be really cool and fun, and I really like what this person has written. And I've ultimately done... I've gotten through about half the book. I think that's a quarter of the book per episode is per 3 hours is reasonable. But yeah, I should probably rate out, considering my throat is a little itchy scratchy right now. And I'm going to send you all to another member of our group, Mitha VT. She is an amazing, wonderful person. I love her very much. I love her very dearly. Yeah, she's our beautiful, amazing editor, and you should follow her. So we are going to raid her. Our raid message is right here. This is a raid. Put your hands where I can hold them. So please participate in the raid message. If you've enjoyed this discussion and would like to continue it, please, lovely people, please hop to our Discord if you would like to. It is a beautiful, wonderful place that people love, but also if you're a lurker, that's okay. We love lurkers here. And then also, if you would like to see us run an actual game instead of me yapping for a couple hours whenever I have spoons to go through the book, you should go check out our YouTube. It has all of the plays. They're fully edited. There's all in playlists. You can even watch them in podcast form. Yeah, it was nice meeting you. Nice talking with you. I will probably be doing this again. But yeah, check out all those places. If you've enjoyed our work and would like to support us, that would be fucking amazing. You can do that over our Patreon. You can do that with subs. Remember that your Twitch Prime subscription is mandatory to be spent. It doesn't have to be spent here, but please spend it if you have a Twitch Prime. Please spend Amazon's money. They don't need it. They're going to do worse things with it than I will. But yeah, thank you so much all for being here. And I hope you all have a lovely day. Bye-bye now.